This is Caring for Kids on News Talk 760 WJR, presented by the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation. And here's your host, President and CEO of the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation, Larry Burns.
Thanks, Mark, and hello, everybody, and welcome to Caring for Kids. We have a great show tonight, a lot of issues concerning the health and wellness of children, locally, regionally, and nationally, as we always do. And we're going to start with Peter Lucido, State Representative of the 36th District in the state of Michigan. Dhani Jones, a former University of Michigan All-American football player, an NFL player, and the founder of Bowtie Cause. And John Steinbrecher, Commissioner of the Mid-American Conference. It's all coming up next on Caring for Kids, here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, News Talk 760 WJR.
It's Caring for Kids with Larry Burns.
State Representative Peter Lucido was first elected to serve the 36th District in 2014 and is now in his second term. Representative Lucido serves as Vice Chair of the House Law and Justice Committee, as well as a member of the Tax Policy, Transportation and Infrastructure, and Financial Liability Reform Committees. Peter was the founder, president, and managing partner of one of Macomb County's largest and best law firms. He holds a bachelor's degree in public administration and business from Oakland University, a master's in business from Central Michigan University, my alma mater, and a JD from Detroit College of Law, now Michigan State University School of Law. Representative Lucido, welcome to Caring for Kids.
How you doing, Larry? Good to hear from you, and always great to talk to you.
Yeah, great to hear your voice, and I appreciate it very much. I know how busy you are doing all of these great things up in Lansing and back in Macomb County, and so we appreciate it. And so for our listeners, we have an awful lot of Macomb County listeners as well as across the state and beyond because of the power of WJR. And so tell our listeners a little bit about your district, a little bit about your background and some of the things that you're working on today and into next year.
Well, first of all, my district is the Great 36th District. It's the north end of Macomb County. It serves the residents, and I serve the residents of the 36th District, which is Shelby Township, Washington Township, Bruce Township, and the village of Romeo. I call it the country back setting of Macomb County, but being the most northern part of Macomb County, it's pristine, it's beautiful, the orchards that are out there, all the new businesses, the residents that have, I guess, grown and spurred into the community, and it's just an exciting time in Macomb County to be in that north end. In addition, my background is 30 years as an attorney. I had a law firm that I was the president of. After being elected, I took leave of the law firm to serve now in the government as it relates to a state House of Representative. I enjoy practicing law. In fact, like my grandma Lucido used to say, you were meant to help people. And that's what a lawyer does, is they, have a chance to go ahead and make a difference in people's lives. I'm very honored and humbled by the fact that I was elected in 2014. I've been serving now I'm starting my fourth year, coming up in 2018 in the State House. Also, I have had great committees to make a great difference for the residents, not only of the state, but also impacted Macomb County. So I guess the background, being a lawyer, I had a chance to develop and argue case law. Being a lawmaker, I have a chance now to develop and make the law that will be argued by attorneys.
Excellent. We're talking with Peter Lucido, State Representative from the Great 36th District of the state of Michigan. And so I know, Pete, that you're very active on submitting bills and things of that nature. And can you tell us a little bit about some of those that you're most proud about? And I know how hard you work on all of them.
Protecting seniors, the greatest generation that ever lived, is paramount because we are coming into the baby boomers that are entering the twilight years. And I tell everybody, those bills that I pump out is coming from a family of 8. The Lucidos, there was 4 boys and 4 girls. Mom and Dad made 10. We grew up very close-knit, and I've watched now today, I'm very proud that my parents, and blessed is the word, that my mom and dad are still alive. My dad is 95 years old.
Wow.
My mom, 88. And I look at the challenges, but I look at the opportunities on my side to help the senior citizens and to go ahead and put bills together that actually provide some relief from tax or some safe haven as it relates to their estates when maybe they become somewhat confused. I also have put in bills, and these have passed. They are on the books. These are public acts that will now give safe harbor to individuals to make challenging choices for their family members to take care of them when they can no longer take care of themselves.
Right.
So those are one sets of packages of bills that I put out there to save tax money for the seniors, take care of them in regards to certain things that have to be taken care of, and to make sure that their choices are their choices and not somebody else's, to protect them.
Absolutely.
There's a host of things that we do at our coffee hours. I have these coffee hours that I call them, Conversation and Coffee with Pete. I provide that in the community for people to come in, give me ideas for legislation, and also being able to go ahead and, give me some opportunity to discuss some bills that will go ahead, and it gives me a chance to bounce ideas off of them, of ideas that I have, to see whether or not they can influence me to make it a better law or a better bill to give them better quality of services when it's done with.
Yes.
And that's important to me.
It is. I know it is. And Pete Lucido, we asked you to attend a Children's Hospital Michigan Foundation legislative roundtable back in the summer, and we were not only finding out about some of the things within your community that we might be able to help with, but you also brought up, in particular, 3 organizations that you're very passionate about, and Wigs for Kids is one of them, Beautiful Me, and we have followed up with Maggie from Wigs for Kids, and tell our listeners a little bit about not only what you're doing for the greatest generation. My mom's 98, by the way. And you're also trying to take care of our next generation, and that's kids.
Yep.
And so these organizations you're involved with and other things, I know our listeners want to hear about that.
You know what, Larry, and I was excited. I not only came down to the meeting that was put together, the group of individual legislators as well as your board, but I also learned about organizations that are outside the scope of Macomb County, like your organization, Children's Hospital. And what I really liked was the fact that you're reaching out outside of your communities and going into other communities to help and promote and to secure the future of our children. What really made me feel connected was you were willing to listen, reach out, and go seek those individuals, such as Maggie Varney, Wigs for Kids.
Right.
Maggie has been a champion for many, many years, over a decade. She has served in a capacity of a need for children who have cancer that lose their hair and have a chance to make their world a little brighter, a little more secure, and a little bit better every day for the families. So those children are getting a pat on the back and at the same time a smile on their face when she can make a wig for a kid who has cancer. In addition, Karen Polka from A Beautiful Me, Self-Esteem with the Women.
Right.
And she's in the North End also. The Beautiful Me is a organization that Karen put together that you went and met with Karen, and she was very grateful that you did, that she had a chance to talk to you about those individuals that have low self-esteem or they're uncertain, they're unsure. Give them a shot in the arm.
Absolutely.
Make them people that understand that they are a person, if they have the same chemistry, if you will, DNA, if you will, of anybody else to make a difference, and to give them the benefit of ensuring their own self-worth and self-esteem to build that. Then the last one was Families Against Narcotics.
Yes.
And Judge Linda Davis, who's been the president and CEO, she's a champion as a prosecutor, as a teacher, and now as a judge. her career spans the globe. She is also an Oakland University graduate, which I'm proud of. Mm-hmm. And she has taken in the ideas of how do we help individuals who have a drug problem. Most of them are, again, the younger individuals. We're talking about where families find out that they have an addict in their family. What do you do? How do you solve the problem? And we all know now it's an epidemic. We all know that, we're going to have to take every bit of energy and knowledge that we have to go ahead and stop the epidemic, to stop people from ODing. Every week we have 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6 deaths in Macomb County alone from ODing.
Yeah.
And we have to stop it. And families have to learn how to control, but more importantly, how to intervene immediately when they find out that there's somebody in their family that's has this vice.
Yeah, and that's one of our new focus areas that falls into wellness, mental health.
Yeah.
And
so I think the organizations that you've had a chance to reach out to, that you've came into the community, that you've sat down with, that you dialogued with, you've inspired them by being a part of a team, a group effort, a leader, taking the reins of saying, how can we do better for all of us to make this place here in Michigan a better place, but more importantly, our local communities stronger.
Yes,
and that's what we like about these partnerships that we have with Children's Hospital and your organization, your foundation.
Absolutely. So well said, and that's what we're striving to do. And so, Pete Lucido, for 2018, both back in Macomb and in Lansing, do you have some specific objectives you want to achieve that we can talk about as the year is about to start?
I want to bring it home where I'm homegrown in Macomb, and I want to bring it home to Macomb. And quite frankly, I want to bring it home to all the residents of the state. I tell my children this: you're born if God gives you 3 feet as a tape measure. Your first 12 inches, you educate yourself. You go out and get all the tools in the toolbox you need to build the next 12 inches or foot. You go make all the money, raise your children, teach them the righteousness and the good ideas that you have. And the last 12 inches, give it all back. You're not going to need it.
Right.
And leave an indelible mark, a footprint that people know that you made a difference here for the state and for the betterment of your community. And that's what I hope everybody lives with, those principles, because that's where I'm going. The last 12 inches or the last foot, at this point, Larry, I just want to bring it all back and give it back and do what I can to make this community, to make this state a better place for our children and our families and our loved ones.
You're well on the way. And the other thing, I believe you're a very proud graduate of De La Salle High School.
I am. Yes. And I'm very proud of the purple and the gold. I went when I was on Connor by the Detroit City Airport.
They were the pilots.
No longer.
Right?
Yeah, I'm a pilot and proud of it. And, let's face it, we all come from different walks of life. I just heard Ladywood is closing.
Right.
There's another group of fine Catholic schools. But at the same time, it was the camaraderie. It was also the dynamics, and it was family-oriented.
Yeah.
And we ought to get back to the family principles.
Right.
I know that you came from the same kind of family principles in a small community, and you came home, and we're happy to have you back, to be honest with you, because you've inspired these organizations just coming out and making a difference for them, that you spent the time with them, and you're sharing your ideas of how you can engage and make a collaboration of efforts to help the communities.
Well, thank you very much. I do strive to do that every day. And I want to thank you, Pete Lucido, for all you're doing for Macomb County, for the state of Michigan, and for our country. And I look forward to working with you and all of the people you've introduced me to in 2018 and beyond to make this really impactful and strong and make it better for our kids. Thank you, Pete Lucido. And coming up next, we're going to talk to Dhani Jones on life after football and his work with Bowtie Cause when Caring for Kids continues here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, News Talk 760 WJR.
Welcome back to Caring for Kids on WJR, presented by the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation.
Dhani Jones attended the University of Michigan, where he was an All-American linebacker for the 1997 national champion Wolverines. Dhani was drafted to the NFL in 2000 and played 11 seasons with 3 teams: the New York Giants, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Dhani is currently one of 3 investors on CNBC's Adventure Capitalist and is founder of Bowtie Cause. Dhani Jones, welcome to Caring for Kids.
Hey, Larry. I'm glad to be a part of this. I'm glad we're able to chat and excited to talk more.
Absolutely. And I think some people know, we used to have a show on WJR I did when I was with the University of Toledo called The Relevant University, and that's how we first met and did some great things with UT and Taiwan on.
Well, it's been an amazing journey, and obviously as you've continued to grow and now working with the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation and doing the great work on the radio show, I think we collectively are moving or forging ahead in this world of philanthropy and raising awareness. As I work with Bowtie Cause and our amazing partnership, it's really about telling these stories and sort of a continuance of our life and the way that we'd like to contribute to people that are in need and those that are around us.
Absolutely. Do you mind telling our listeners a little bit how Bowtie Cause came about?
So, playing in the National Football League, you see a lot of different things, and, you don't necessarily just get there by yourself. And one of my good friends, Kuta Little John, was always and still is always a part of my life. And growing up, we were great friends and still are. And when I was on the New York Giants, I found out that he had cancer. And when I did, I immediately went to go put on a bow tie. And one might say, like, why in the world would you want to wear a bow tie? Why does even Larry wear a bow tie? And he said, if you want to be somebody, you got to rock a bow tie. And I thought he was crazy because he had told me that years earlier. And then when I found out how he had been diagnosed, I immediately went to go put on a bow tie to support him. And that's how Bowtie Cause got started. It was really about my friend Kunta, and it's really about his story. It was really about the support of 2 people that had grown up together, and even as he supported me through the game of football, I want to be able to support him through his journey of having cancer. Now he's better, and I rock the bow tie all the time, and now we're able to work with amazing organizations like yours in order to bring those same very stories and really encourage people to tell their stories and support those that may not have a voice. So Kunta's doing well, and we're rocking bow ties.
Awesome. And we just launched our first ever Children's Hospital Michigan Foundation bow tie. And it's with a partnership, once again, with Bowtie Cause. We're delighted. And we're going to promote it to begin with for the Detroit Auto Dealers Association charity preview. As you know, that's one of the world's largest fundraisers. And so it's easy for people listening to get the bow tie. You just go to our website, chmfoundation.org, and you'll see the bow tie, and it goes toward oncology or cancer programs at the Children's Hospital of Michigan. So it's a win-win situation, and just so delighted that you and I can work together again.
No, absolutely. And I love the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation, and graduating from the University of Michigan, I've seen the great work that you've done, and I've seen the great work that you guys have put into, and the kids that you work with and the people that are surrounding the community and all the great work that you guys have done. And I think that in our partnership with Bowtie Cause, it threads effortlessly into sort of the actionable items that you can do because, we're working with the young kids and we're allowing them to design this bow tie. And it is just as much a community effort. And I think that from our standpoint at Bowtie Cause and yours at the foundation, it just threads really well together.
Absolutely. And so one of the things I also wanted to ask you, because I know our listeners, particularly those in the Michigan area, are interested in your journey. And so you've been very active after football. You're involved, as I mentioned in the promo, in CNBC. You were involved with Notre Dame football a year ago. You were at the Olympics. And so how how's that journey been since football ended for you and you went on to the next chapter?
Well, the journey has been an adventure, and it's been a journey, right? There's nothing perfect, right? It's all about understanding where you are in that journey. It's about the people that surrounded you, and I think there's a couple of iterations that anybody goes through as they make a transition from whether it's the world of football or world of business or the world of television into the next subsequent chapter of your life. And I've been fortunate in order to be surrounded by amazing people that have helped structure and help me identify a better way to do things. And and working now in investing, I've transitioned in a lot of different ways and doing a lot of different TV things. But on the entrepreneurship side, those have all been a part of my journey. And doing my show now on CNBC, Adventure Capitalist, that's been one of the greatest manifestations of being able to spend time with those that are owners of businesses and being able to invest with them and invest with them and work with them and allow them to capture the real American dream.
Yeah, and I think I texted you recently and said I was at the Detroit Economic Club and we were listening to the president of the University of Michigan, and he brought out this little blanket for children in third world countries who unfortunately don't have electricity and they die. And a U of M graduate came up with this what they call Blankie, and then he said, and a person you're all familiar with, Dhani Jones, is also an investor. So that was pretty cool.
Well, there are many stories out there that are similar to Warmaloo and Grace and what she's been able to do, and there are people that have these subsequent ideas. And I think from a Midwestern perspective, a lot of people have not necessarily paid attention to investing in the Midwest. And now recently, people like Scott Case and Rise of the Rest, and then other companies out there that are starting to now take notice. The heartland or the Midwestern values and the ideas and the amazing educational platforms and the greatest universities, such as the University of Michigan, have these amazing talents and have these amazing people. And so I want to help those companies and those people and those dreams thrive and allow them to stay here and not have to go elsewhere, not to go to the coast, but to really start to even build within the Midwest, where there are a litany of people that have great backgrounds that can provide added value to these businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we have a lot of parents and grandparents who are listening to our show. I don't know how many teenagers listen to our show on WJR, but hopefully some. One of the things I want to ask Dhani Jones as we close this interview is, what kind of advice do you give young people that look up to you as an All-American, an NFL player, and now an entrepreneur? Are there things that parents, grandparents can say to youngsters that you've learned along the way?
I think the most important thing is, I love listening to my grandparents when they were alive and the stories that they would tell me. And one of the things that they'd always give me is that sort of the nod of curiosity. And I think we have everything at our fingertips nowadays, right? You can pick up your phone and find anything you want.
Right.
But there's something about sort of this natural curiosity to look around where you are. The other day I was on like a fifth floor of a building, and I looked down and I saw everybody walking around and nobody was looking up. Right. Nobody was looking around. Right. Everybody was on their phone. Right. And I love that. Right. I'm guilty as anybody else about sort of sticking to the little screen that is concentrated in the palm of my hand. But there's some things that are amazing that are just within sort of an eye shot if you were to just sort of take a glance or have a gander. And I think that curiosity is one of the most important things that we can still believe in. But we have to actually do it, because 9.5 out of 10 things are just given to you, or you just ask Siri, and Siri will tell you. Go explore for yourself and see what else is out there.
Absolutely. So, Dhani, I want to thank you for all you're doing and for our new partnership with Bowtie Cause. I hope you come and visit us in 2018, because I'd love to see you in person again.
No, absolutely. And I appreciate you having me on, and I appreciate the partnership as well.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. That's Dhani Jones, former NFL star, philanthropist, and founder of Bowtie Cause. And when we come back, we're going to talk to the commissioner of the Mid-American Conference, John Steinbrecher. That's when Caring for Kids continues, here on the great voice of the Great Lakes. News Talk 760 WJR.
Welcome back to Caring for Kids on WJR. Presented by the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation. Once again, here's Larry Burns.
Dr. John Steinbrecher enters his 9th year with the Mid-American Conference after being named the league's 8th commissioner on March 16, 2009. Commissioner Steinbrecher has expanded bowl opportunities for the conference, stabilized membership, and increased television exposure with a historic national television and digital distribution rights deal with ESPN. The commissioner has orchestrated the development of the first-of-its-kind conference-wide mental health program, which includes a biannual mental health summit. He has also established a conference-wide comprehensive diversity and inclusion program to accelerate the growth of minority candidates for collegiate job opportunities in coaching and in administration. Commissioner Steinbrecher has also created the MAC Academic Consortium, which integrates across conference membership the next generation of leaders in higher education. That's an awful lot for one commissioner. Commissioner, welcome to Caring for Kids.
Larry, it's great to be with you.
It's great to hear your voice. And in this Mid-American Conference, which is dear to my heart, as you know, I'm a Central Michigan graduate. I worked at the University of Toledo, as you know, and I worked at the University of Akron. So I'm all MAC. My wife's an Eastern Michigan graduate, so it's close to our heart at home.
Well, you know what's so neat about the Mid-American Conference and about my position is the opportunity to meet so many of the folks who have come up through our member institutions or who are somehow attached all across the Midwest and really, quite frankly, all across the country. There are hundreds of thousands of great Mid-American Conference alums that are doing wonderful things for our country, and it's always neat to meet them and hear their life experiences.
Yeah, it gets better every year, and I really think that the MAC is on a roll. And what are some of the things that you as commissioner are most excited about the Mid-American Conference?
You know, what I like is that our leadership pushes us and pushes me to be very, very student-centric. And so many of the things we do are focused not only on the things, the typical on-the-field things that you would expect that you focus on with the winning and so on, but also in terms of developing the total student. And so some of the things you talked about when you introduced me, the mental health initiatives we put in place. We're the first conference to put in place a conference-wide mental health program in which it focused on education and then it focused on access. And so helping to demystifize all the issues around mental health problems, because what we learn is that mental health per se is an issue across all of society, and that so many students in general, not only student athletes, students in general are dealing with things whether it's depression, anxiety, eating disorders, etc. And so we know that for an athlete to be at their best, they need to be not only in the best place physically, be physically fit, they also need to be mentally fit. And so we need to have those two things in harmony. So it's educating coaches, educating administrators, educating students, and taking the stigma off, saying, hey, I have a problem here. I need some assistance. And so getting that moving down the road, and then developing the resources to address what those issues may be, whether it's better utilizing mental health resources and doctors and caregivers on campus, having those embedded with the athletic department or in the community themselves. That's one example. We've just also, as a league, initiated a conference-wide diversity and inclusion program with the emphasis on helping to bring a broader and greater diverse or more diverse group of people into the profession of being coaches and administrators in their collegiate athletics. And so through a series of internship programs and mentorship programs, hopefully we can facilitate opportunities for more and more people to come into this field. By doing that, again, I think we'll bring greater depth of experiences, and it'll hopefully make it a better enterprise for all involved.
Excellent. And we're talking with Commissioner John Steinbrecher from the Mid-American Conference. And the mental health initiative fits perfectly with our Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation focus areas. And so that we couldn't be happier to partner with you, that we're going to talk about in a minute. But mental health is one of our key areas. And I have to tell you, my days at UT, particularly, and at Akron, but UT, the things that the league did, along with Mike O'Brien and the programs there to help the student athletes, those that had some issues, making great strides to prepare these young men and women for successful lives. So I really commend you on that. And so one of the things that I recently had the opportunity to see you in Detroit for the MAC championship game against the Rockets and the Zips, that the Rockets prevailed, and it was a great opportunity. And you announced a 5-year overall commitment with Ford Field for that game. And do you sense the stuff that's going on in Detroit when you were there? And did that impact your decision to stay at Ford Field?
Oh, absolutely. One of the, I've been with the Mid-American Conference now 9 years, and to see the transformation that is going on in Detroit from when I came on board just a while back to where we are today is just phenomenal. And you can see that transformation is picking up steam. And so the number of new shops and stores and restaurants and more people moving downtown and living there, and the other type of activities that come as a result of that, downtown has become more and more of a dynamic place to be, and it's what a neat place it has become, and it's great to see that. I live in Cleveland, and Cleveland is still going through a similar process, and so it's wonderful to see both of these cities to pick themselves up, reinvest in themselves, have other people reinvest in them, and people are buying in and coming back to the city. And what a fun place to come.
Absolutely. And one of the other things that impacts the Mid-American Conference is that because there's so many young, recent college graduates coming to Detroit to work for places like Quicken Loans, to work at other places, many of them are Mid-American Conference graduates, Central Michigan, Eastern, Western, all the Ohio schools. And so that will just enhance, as that continues to grow over the next few years, it'll just enhance this game. It will get more people there. So I think you made a great choice in staying at Ford Field. And so I'm looking forward to the next at least 4 years. And we being the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation, announced a 5-year partnership with the Mid-American Conference to be a sponsor of that championship game, and along with Marathon Petroleum and some of your other great sponsors. And I know this is sort of a biased question, but what does that mean to you, an organization, iconic brand like Children's Hospital of Michigan, joining the Mid-American Conference and this game?
I always go into relationships with communities. When we take a major championship to a community, what I know is we're going to ask a lot of that community. And as a result, I think the community should expect a lot from us. And so we want to be good community citizens. And so what this partnership allows us to do is to work with an entity such as the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation and promote the great things that are going on in your shop. And in doing so, we help to further those efforts and hopefully also shine a positive light on the many great things we're doing in the Mid-American Conference.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the partnership. We had about 15 youngsters on the field at the game. They were doing all sorts of things, from the coin toss to shagging balls and just having a marvelous time. And there's even things that we've thought of for next year, and we're working with your staff and the nice people from IMG. And so that partnership we're very excited about to bring that message home about the Mid-American Conference, Children's Hospital Michigan Foundation. And so I'm looking forward to that. And one last comment I wanted to make is that how cool is it that in this NFL season to see some of the the biggest stars every Sunday and some Saturdays and Thursdays are Mid-American Conference graduates. You have Antonio Brown, you have Ben Roethlisberger, you have a whole bunch of others, probably the Rookie of the Year, a former Rocket with the Kansas City Chiefs. And, that I don't know if that's ever happened before. And so does that also help?
We've got over 90 MAC players on active NFL rosters. Wow. 3 of the past 5 years, we've had top 5 draft choices. We have a number of quality players, and it points to the quality of our team.
Yeah.
Our folks can go out and play with anybody in the country.
Absolutely, and they show that every Saturday. And so, I want to thank you, Commissioner Steinbrecher, for being on the show and for being our new partner and for all the things that you're doing at the Mid-American Conference. And have a great new year, and I'll see you in Cleveland or somewhere else soon.
I will look forward to it.
All righty. Thank you very much. That was Commissioner John Steinbrecher of the Mid-American Conference. And stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, because I'm going to give you some new updates on some cool things happening at the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation when we continue.
It's Caring for Kids with Larry Burns.
Larry Burns here, back on Caring for Kids. We've had a great show tonight. Pete Lucido, he's somebody who is a major factor in Lansing and in Macomb County, and what is great talking to him and working with him on things, particularly in Macomb County. And then my pal, Dhani Jones, is all over the place in our partnership with Bowtie Cause. Please consider buying one of our bow ties or a scarf to help cancer programs at Children's Hospital. It's easy. Go to chmfoundation.org. And then we also, with Commissioner Steinbrecher, the Mid-American Conference, it was great to get an update on things like that. So I appreciate everyone listening. I hope that everyone has a wonderful new year. And this show will be back on January 23rd at 7 p.m. In the meantime, have a safe and happy holiday season. And we'll see you next time right here on Caring for Kids, here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, News Talk 760 WJR.
Caring for Kids on WJR has been presented by the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation.